I just can't shut up about it. Well, hello there, and welcome back to my channel. Things might look a little bit different this week, and that's because we are finally moving, guys. It's happening. It's actually happening. And I'm not recording with my usual, backdrop because right now it's in complete disarray. There are moving boxes stacked up in front of it and, gotta work with what we've got. That said, if you're a new viewer, welcome to my little corner of the interwebs. This is not the normal setup. And the next time I record a proper episode will probably be most likely from our new house. I'm so excited, guys. And I hope you guys are too. So, that said, next week I will most likely not be publishing a regular episode. If my sanity is intact and we're not running around like chickens with our heads cut off and stressed out, I will do my best to publish some moving vlogs to my best ability because, just to give you guys a little BTS behind the scenes of, how the moving process goes. And also just to keep me in the swing of things. I don't know, whatever. I have fun vlogging, so it'll be a really good vlogging opportunity, I think. But yes, enough waffling on about the backdrop and moving. This is a YouTube channel primarily about knitting. I chat about what I'm knitting, what I'm working on, with the occasional side dish of other crafty goodness as well. And lately it seems to be about quilting. So yes, we've got a lovely mixed bag of knitting, quilting, English paper piecing, and a side dash of something else, which I'll get to. But yes, if that is your thing, gather around, grab a cup of something, and let's get into things. All right, first up, let's talk the Don't Look Up sweater. Yeah, it's living in this lovely Tanny Casey project bag. I love how big this bag is, just because, yeah, it's big enough to hold a sweater. I mean, what could be better? Oh goodness, that rhymed. Wow. Big enough to hold a sweater. What could be better? Oh, wow. Poet and I didn't know it, guys. I'm here all week. I love this thing. I absolutely love the way this is turning out. I mean, I'm already down to the ribbing, but I'm not gonna lie, guys. I've been working on the ribbing all week long. It's already Thursday. I've run out of steam on it. I just don't feel motivated to work on it. I don't want to work on it. I want to do something else. I have other projects going on that I would rather be working on that I just feel more inspired to work on. But that's not to say that I'm completely dumping this project. No, I've come this far with creating the chart, with doing all the math. There's no way in hell that I am abandoning this project. But I am giving myself permission to take a break, because I don't want to force myself. You've seen me do this with other projects in the past, but when I'm not feeling into the project, I give myself permission to, let's fold it up, take a little break, and do some palette cleansing. Because yeah, I feel like that is the best remedy when it comes to losing steam on projects that you're just not into at the moment, that you want to finish but just not feeling it. So that's where I am with this. But again, if you are just tuning in, this is a sweater that I am reverse engineering. If you watch the movie Don't Look Up with Jennifer Lawrence and Leonardo DiCaprio, in the opening scene, Jennifer Lawrence is wearing this magnificent colorwork sweater, and I immediately recognized it from a sweater that I saw hanging on a rack in Target. I've just looked at the image on the website, on Target's website, and just, really studied the motif closely and went into Excel and just created a colorwork chart, used Elizabeth Zimmerman's percentage system to work out the maths when it comes to cast-ons and all that good stuff. I will leave a link to the Ravelry page, the project page, where I list all of my notes that I've taken to get to where I am in this. There's also a link on the page to where you can find the chart should you want to tackle this project yourself. And again, because I'm reverse engineering a pre-existing design, I'm not going to be publishing a pattern, just sharing my notes and the chart for those of you who want to, do a little plugging and playing with something like this. So anyway, wow, that was very long-winded, but yeah, the yarn is Knit Picks Wool of the Andes Superwash in 3 different colorways. So the main colorway right here is their Persimmon colorway, then the black is Coal, and then the pink is their rouge colorway. And I'm holding the contrasting colors together with lace weight and mohair to give it this really beautiful, beautiful halo. I honestly don't know why I don't feel like working on it. I've just been sitting here working on the ribbing, and I feel like working on something else. I don't know. So I'm going with it. I'm just listening to my body. The crafting soul wants what the crafting soul wants, and you know what? I'm going to indulge it. So if you're feeling the same way about a project you're working on, just know that you're not alone, and it's okay to take a break from it. Knit a palette cleanser. Something quick that's easy to finish to give you that little boost of instant gratification so you can come back to a project like this and just power through. So yeah, that's where I am with my Don't Look Up sweater. I have yet to cast on the Once in Floral pullover by Maxim that I keep mentioning every week that I want to cast on, and my dear friend Tanya gifted it to me for my birthday. Tanya, if you're watching, thank you so much. That was super generous of you. You didn't have to do that, but thank you, thank you. But I've been torn between wanting to finish this and waiting until after the move, or just pulling the trigger and casting it on because I really want to cast that pattern on. But it's also been difficult because these past weeks, this area right here has just been piled high with stuff that has to get organized for the move. And, you know, while my yarn swift is here, I had nowhere to set up my ball winder. It's been crazy. But now I can actually see the surface of the table, and maybe I can actually maybe I should just wind up the yarn just so it's wound up and I can cast on when I don't know, when I feel like the time is right. I don't know, decisions, but anyway, we'll cross that bridge when we get to it. But anyway, yes, that is where I am with my Don't Look Up pullover. It will get finished, my friends. Just today is not the day. So, but anyway, yeah, in the meantime, the other craft that has completely bogarted my heart is English paper piecing, my friends. I mean, particularly this pattern in particular, Millefiori Quilts by Willyne Hammerstein. And I believe I talked about it on the last episode, but this book, oh my gosh, guys, I can't even begin. It is such a beautiful book. It has both French and English translations in here, and yeah, this woman, Willyne Hammerstein, she just designed these beautiful, absolutely stunning English paper piece quilts that are just completely epic. And I was watching the last Homely House, and Kate was working on a quilt from this book called the Passacaglia. Look how magnificent this quilt is. I mean, and this is not something that you finish in a weekend. No, my friends. A project like this can take years because you're just hand stitching all the seams together with these little tiny bits and pieces. And, you know, I don't know if I'm going to particularly make this entire quilt. Right now, I just want to make a couple of these medallions and improve my stitching because, yeah, I'm still relatively new to English paper piecing. In fact, I'm very green. I maybe picked this up at the beginning of the month and have just been completely obsessed with it. I do want to apologize because I've been mispronouncing the name of this quilt. I was calling it the Passacaglia, but no, it is called Passacaglia because the L has a j sound to it. And I learned that over the weekend, so you know, from now on, it will be Passacaglia. I will say that 3 times every single day until it just rolls off my tongue, because I feel like I'm going to be saying Passacaglia quite often on this YouTube channel from here on out. But anyway, Passacaglia. So yes, I began working on a Passacaglia. I was working on it this weekend, but I began it the weekend before. And can we just take a moment? I mean, don't look too close because there are many mistakes in here. I mean, to begin with, some of the moths are facing towards the star, and then some of the moths are facing away from the star, like over here. This one's facing away, this one's facing towards. And I completely fussy cutted everything, and the joy, you would think that it's so painstakingly tedious to do that, but I'm finding so much joy in fussy cutting and focusing on the meticulous details of everything that's going into this. And yeah, guys. And I've started the little star border. So there's a little hexagon in here, and then it's surrounded by little tiny little triangles, and it makes me so happy, you guys. So yes, a labor of love indeed, and I just can't get enough. And I started my own little English paper piecing box. I want to get a nicer one, something a little more special than this plastic one, but this is what I had floating around my craft room, and it was just the perfect size to, you know, take along with me in a car. I did English paper piece in a car at one point over the weekend, and yeah, it can be a portable craft project, but I wouldn't recommend it for a car. I mean, I was able to do it, but the way Dennis drives, not to criticize, I'm just saying, driving around in Brooklyn, in New York, it's a little herky-jerky, and when you're working with a tiny milliner needle, I wouldn't recommend it. But maybe you can get away, maybe once we move out of the city, you know, we'll have a little easier time on the roads. We don't have to start and stop and deal with crazy, insane traffic here in Brooklyn. But yeah, in the meantime, I think I might abstain from English paper piecing in the car just because I don't want to stab myself in the eye while driving in the car. But yeah, so this is my little EPP box that I've been keeping all these little tiny bits and pieces in. Oh my gosh, you guys, look. They look like little crabs. I don't know if you can see it. These are probably all gonna fall out. I'll try and get a close-up of them for you. But yeah, all the stars are practically done. I think I have one or two more to assemble. And then I've got to fussy cut out some diamonds, a diamond shape. And I'm actually using templates to do this. I purchased this pack of acrylic templates that were specifically designed to create the Passacaglia quilt. So all the pieces in here are all you need to, or all the shapes that you need to make one of these medallions. At least one of the sizes. I think there are actually 2 medallion sizes, so I just have one size at the moment. But you know, it has a little window so you can see what will be inside the seam allowance, and then you have, like, this part right here is the seam allowance, but then it also comes with a little insert like here if you want to create your own seam allowance or use a mirror to, you know, see what the kaleidoscope effect is going to be like. They give you the little tiny insert piece that goes inside the seam allowance. Am I making any sense? I'm going to post a link in the description box to the Etsy shop where I purchased these. They actually have a whole array of different templates that you can choose from. But yeah, it comes with a diamond shape. It comes with a large hexie size. Let me see, a smaller hexie size. Diamonds and triangles. These are so handy. And you know, because I'm fussy cutting each piece, I'm just taking little strips of fabric. This is the fabric. I just got a whole layer cake of this one print collection. It's by Riley Blake Designs, and they don't tell you which collection it is, or they did, but I threw out the label. Again, I'll link to it down below, but it's this beautiful print of really beautiful mauve shades, teal shades, yellow goldens, pinks, and grays. Yeah, just makes my heart sing so much. But they're perfect for this project because you can just pick and choose different prints, and you know, like so, like taking the templates and just dragging them over to, you know, the prints that I want to fussy cut out, taking a pencil, tracing them, and then cutting them out. And I picked up these scissors from Amazon that I freaking love. These are perfect for fussy cutting, like cutting out detailed pieces in tiny bits of fabric, and I like them not only because they're sharp, but they also have a perforated edge. Which, if you're not familiar, perforated edge, like if you think about pinking shears to cut fabric, the zigzag edge prevents fabric from fraying. So I don't know if that's what these are designed for, but I just love the feel of them. They just have, you know, a really nice tactile feel when cutting out little bits of fabric, making the whole process very, very tactile. I guess that's the best word for it. But yeah, that's just been my weekend. And Dennis, you know, comes in my craft room and I'm just sitting there like gluing and cutting little bits of, like, I must look insane. Like I've lost my mind. But I mean, my soul is happy. That's all I can say. So yeah, I'm trying to think what else I want to say about English paper piecing other than, my gosh, you guys, I just can't shut up about it. And I know in an earlier episode I mentioned how I was really into basting the fabric to the little pieces of paper that go inside of it. I switched to the glue gun, guys. I am a full convert to the glue gun. It makes it easy, it makes it quick, because at the end of the day, I mean, even though I really do enjoy folding the little pieces of fabric around the paper that goes inside the fabric, I love the speed of the glue, and I just love the, you know, just folding everything just so around edges. It's mental. It's mental. I know. I can't. I don't know. Welcome to my world. Yeah, so that's where I am with English paper piecing. And I want to thank Brent. I don't know if he watches this YouTube channel, but we follow each other on Instagram. He's also a knitter, and he got in my DMs and let me know about this one lecture that was happening over on, what was it, Meander.com. It's this online quilting community, and they were giving a free lecture about English paper piecing. It was like an intro. And it was hosted by Giuseppe, blanking on his last name, but his name's Giuseppe. He's the designer behind Juicy Juice Fabrics. So he creates fabric collections for Andover Fabrics. Anyway, he gave this brilliant lecture, an intro to English paper piecing, and watching that is actually how I learned to correctly pronounce La Passacaglia. And yeah, so that was really, really helpful. He gave you little tips and tricks on how to fussy cut correctly, choose colors, just a very, very, you know, surface snorkel into English paper piecing, but I found it so helpful. But yeah, I definitely want to try some other patterns that are out there. It's not just about hexagons. Clearly, as I just showed you, you can have diamonds, you can have, yeah, just triangles, curved edges, which seems complicated, but actually I'm really excited to try EPPing curved edges. It just, yeah, I can't get enough. But that's not to say that I'm ditching quilting and only sticking to EPP. No, no, my friends. I'm very hooked on quilting as well. In fact, I did sew a quilt top. Where did it go? I talked about how my desk chair, the task chair that I use, that I sit at pretty much for the most part of the day, you know, when I'm not dyeing yarn, I'm usually up here in my craft room knitting, watching YouTube videos, editing YouTube videos. The chair gets a lot of love, and it's seen better days, at least the bum part of it, you know, where my butt sits. So instead of getting a new chair, I thought, you know, why don't I just quilt a little cushion for the top of my chair to cover it up and make it look nice. So I went on Etsy, and while I didn't find something specifically designed for the top of a chair, like a chair cushion, I did find a pillow pattern, a PDF quilted pillow top pattern, pillowcase. There we go. Words, Kristen. I found a pattern for a pillowcase. Again, I'll pop it in the down bar and link to it in the doobly-doo, and pop a photo of it here so you can see what it looks like. But yay! I finished knitting. I finished the quilt top. It's just a small square. I'm sure if I made more and tacked them all together, it could make a really cool, large quilt. I believe she actually does have a giant quilt pattern, you know, just using strips of fabric. Really simple, really easy to whip up. I whipped this up in maybe under an hour. It was so quick. So all that's left to do is for me to create my little quilt sandwich, quilt it. I'm going to do that over on my Janome machine using free motion quilting, and then add a binding, hand stitch it all in place, and Bob's your uncle. Never gets old, guys. I will then have a nice little cushion for my poor dilapidated chair that's seen better days, you know? So anyway, yeah, that is where I am with quilting. Are you sick and tired of hearing me talk about quilting? I hope not. I hope not, because I feel like quilting has just become a part of my making DNA. Knitting and quilting. It just, yeah, so good. So good. What else do I want to chat about? Yes, the other project that... So over the weekend, Dennis had to go to Home Depot to pick up some moving boxes, and I have a severe aversion to Home Depot. I refuse to go, I told Dennis, I said, if you need me to go with you, I will go with you, but if you don't, then it's fine. He's like, I don't need you to go with me, but I might be going to the Home Depot near Michael's and Trader Joe's. Do you want to come? And I was like, I could use a little field trip out of the house, and, he said the M word, he said Michael's. And I was like, you know what, twist my arm, let me come with you, because I could use some crafty retail therapy, so sue me. So yeah, I ended up going to Michael's. I didn't really need anything from Michael's, maybe some organization stuff for my ever-growing English paper piecing addiction. So that might have been the only thing on my radar. But of course I browsed their yarn section because the one near us has a massive selection. I mean, it's kind of like a grab bag. Like nothing's organized there. Everything's just kind of just haphazardly stocked in bins and everything. But they had this massive sale on Caron yarn. And I couldn't help myself, guys. I got, yeah, giant bag. I could not resist, guys. These were $5 per ball, and wait till you see these skeins. I mean, they're not even skeins. I would call them wheels. Look, I mean, $5. $5, you get something the size of your head. I mean, this is Caron Yarnspirations Caron Cloud Cakes. These are limited edition, originally retailing for $9.99 US, marked down to $4.99 US. And, you know, each one of these cakes is 240 grams with 760 yards, and that's 695 meters. $5. Granted, it is 100% polyester, but let me tell you, this feels like butter. It's so soft, so squishy, and I could not resist. And seeing this colorway together, which is graphite, together with this color, which is also, I mean, obviously Caron, but it's their crystal cakes. So they had a whole line of cakes, which makes sense because, you know, it's their anniversary, and, you know, they just decided to do this fun thing with creating all these different types of cake bases. I thought it was brilliant. So this is their Starry Night colorway in the crystal cakes, and I'm assuming this is also, this has less yardage. It's 634 yards, 580 meters, 240 grams. But yes, it's 64% acrylic, 24% polyester, and 7% nylon, and 5% metallic. So yeah, anyway, but it is what it is, but this colorway combination just made my heart sing so much and could not resist, especially when I looked at the pattern on this cake right here. I'll pop a photo of it so you can see. I saw the pattern and I was just like, that looks like such a great project. I could see myself casting on a blanket like that. And I don't know, again, I was talking about this over on the Monday Waffle. There's just something comforting about working on a simple project with budget yarn. Yeah, I don't know what it is, but I saw the yarn and the pattern and I was just like, I want to make that. I want to make that. I want to forget everything else and just make a blanket out of this yarn. So that's what I did. And I got enough to make said blanket. So the pattern called for 2 of these skeins and 3 of these skeins. So I got enough to make the blanket. Although I am considering going back and getting more. So the blanket doesn't have a border. It's all just mitered squares, which, I mean, come on, it's brilliant. Just a simple mitered square blanket using ginormous mitered squares. I'm here for it, but looking at the pattern, I feel like it would be cool to kind of add an extra border, just something a little lacy to give it a little added, just zhuzh it up just a little more. So, you know, I don't know if we're going to be able to, we might be able to go back this weekend. Dennis might need to go back to Home Depot this weekend, so maybe I'll hitch another ride with him and get a couple more skeins of this, because yeah, I think this blanket could use a border. We shall see. But yeah, this yarn, it's so delightful, you know? And I did cast it on. Hang on. So I did cast it on and I finished 1 square. So here is 1 square, what it looks like. I mean, it's just so beautiful. I love the way that these colors are playing together. And what I didn't realize, I thought that the pattern used these yarns interchangeably, but no, the pattern is actually designed for crystal cakes, and you can see because the gauge changes. So, you know, I knit this using all 1 size crochet hook, and then after I was done with the whole square, I realized that I really should have downsized on my hook when I switched to this yarn. So I'm going to try that with the next square that I'm crocheting and see how that works out, and if it looks better, I'm going to rip this out and redo it, because it'll help for sure when I attach all the squares together later on. This way there won't be any wonky bits or puckering or anyway. Yeah, that I know will bother me. So, but yeah, I mean, these squares come together so quickly. I have to make 16 of them, And they're just so nice and relaxing to work on. I don't know what it is. And I should have mentioned, it is crochet. We are crocheting. I did not expect that. When I purchased all this yarn and I looked at the pattern, I thought it was knitting. But when I actually sat down to cast on, I realized, it's actually crochet. And I'm okay with that. So yeah, we are crocheting this week, and I couldn't be happier. I could not be more excited. The funny thing is, I don't crochet very often, but when I do, it's always good. You can tell because the first square that I started casting on, you can tell my gauge is completely off. Like, I started out very loose over here. You can see once I started getting my sea legs and becoming a more confident hooker, if you will, towards the end. And yeah, thus we have this diamond shape. So practice square, recast on, made this square, realized that I have to downsize at some point. And hopefully with this square, 3 times the charm. I don't know. But yeah, so that is all the creative content that I have to share with you this week, guys. Thank you. If you're still here, thank you for hanging out with me. I'm trying to think of if there's anything else that I want to chat about before I let you go, because yeah, this is most likely going to be the last time that I record an actual episode in this room. It's very, very bizarre and bittersweet. I keep walking around the house, just, yeah, it's so weird. It's so weird when you've lived in a place for so long. Not that 6 years, 7 years is that long. I mean, it kind of is, but yeah, I'm still beside myself. It still hasn't sunk in that we're actually moving. Even though there are boxes stacked up, and we are moving out of the city, but not too far. We're just moving to Westchester, so it's going to be a hop, skip, and away from Manhattan, only about an hour out of Grand Central. So, I'm definitely going to be looking for excuses to come back into Manhattan, into the city, and, get back into circulation. But it's just going to be so nice to, look out the window and see trees and just have, for the most part, peace and quiet. Because if you've been with this channel for a couple of years already, you know how loud it gets out here with, Motorcycle Man. I think he took off as well. He's not here. We haven't heard him. I mean, we hear the occasional motorcycle, but it's not the same Motorcycle Man. Motorcycle Man, by the way, was a reoccurring character on this channel. Every day, without fail, he would just rev up his motorcycle out, like right outside our house, just letting it rev up, warm up, and just letting it go for I don't know how long, and then taking off. And this would happen at least once a day, sometimes two. It would drive me absolutely batty. But yeah, I think at some point during the pandemic, he vominosed. He moved out. But there are just other little things that I'm definitely not going to miss. So anyway. The end is near. The end is near. I cannot wait. Anyway, enough waffling. I will let you guys go. Thank you so much again for hanging out with me. If you're new here, welcome. If you haven't already, feel free to like and subscribe down below. I'm putting out videos for your viewing pleasure every week, with the exception of the following week because, yeah, moving. I might need to take a break. And if you would like to support this channel, I highly encourage you to become a member. Just click the join button right below this video. For the price of a fancy schmancy cup of coffee every month, you can enjoy some bonus content from me, like the Monday Waffle, which is a super casual vlog where I chat about life stuff, what happened over the weekend, what I got up to craft-wise and life-wise, and, just sharing some behind-the-scenes stuff and all that good stuff. So anyway, yeah, definitely check it out. It's a lot of fun, and I truly enjoy interacting with members over in the community tab and, in the comments over there. Yeah, so anyway, until the next video, have an amazing weekend, and I will see you next time. Bye!